fourth canto, I think 23rd chapter, verse number 10. So let us start with the Kirtan to get into the mood of Srimad Bhagavatam. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadhi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava Radhe. Jaya Jaya Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Laddu Gopal, Jaya Bala Mukund, Jaya Laddu Gopal, Jaya Bala Mukund, Jaya Radha Damodara, Radha Damodara Radhe. Jaya Sitaram, Lakshmana Hanuman, Jaya Sitaram, Lakshmana Hanuman, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, राधा माधव की जय, जगन्नाथ बलेश्वर माई की जय, नरसिम्हा भगवान की जय, पंच तत्व की जय, षड गोस्वामी की जय, गुरु परंपरा की जय, शिल प्रभुपाद की जय, शिल गुरुदेव की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंद हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality Godhead Narayana, unto Narnarana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nashtaprayesha Badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So Hare Krishna, Bhagavat Mataji, is welcome all of you again for this Srimad Bhagavatam session. So today we'll be discussing verse number 10 from 4th canto, 23rd chapter. So let us recite the words first. भगवद्धर्मिणः साधोः श्रद्धया यततः सदा भक्तिर्भवति ब्रह्मणि अनन्य विषया भवत्. भगवद्धर्मिणः साधोः श्रद्धया यततः सदा भक्तिर्भगवति ब्रह्मणि अनन्य विषया भवत्. भगवद्धर्मिणः साधोः श्रद्धया यततः सदा भक्तिर्भवति ब्रह्मणि अनन्य विषया भवत्. Any two of you can recite.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mari.
भगवद्धर्मिणा साधोः श्रद्धया यततः सदा भक्तिर्भगवति ब्रह्मणि अनन्यविषया भवत्. हरे कृष्ण प्रभुजी.
Yes, Mari.
भगवद्धर्मणि साधो श्रद्धयो यतता सदा भक्तिर्भगवती ब्रह्मणि अनन्या विषया भवत्.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mari. Hare Krishna synonymous word to word meaning. Bhagavat Dharminaha, one who executes devotional service. Sadhoho, of the devotee. Shraddhaya, with faith. Yatataha, endeavoring. Sada, always. Bhaktihi, devotion. Bhagavati, unto the personality of Godhead. Brahmani, the origin of impersonal Brahman. Ananya Vishaya, firmly fixed without deviation. Abhavat became. Translation and purport by Divine Geshe Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Please hear the translation and purport. Maharaj Prithu thus engaged completely in devotional service, executing the rules and regulations strictly according to principles, 24 hours daily. Thus, his love and devotion unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, developed and became unflinching and fixed. Purport. The word Bhagavad Dharmanaha indicates that the religious process practiced by Maharaj Prithu was beyond all pretensions. As stated in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam 1:1-2, Dharma Projeta Kaitavo Atra, religious principles which are simply pretentious are actually nothing but cheating. Bhagavad Dharmanaha is described by Veera Raghava Acharya as Nivritta Dharmena, which indicates that it cannot be contaminated by material aspiration. As described by Srila Rupa Goswami, Anya Abhilashita Shunyam, Jnana Karmadi Anavritam, Anukulyena Krishnanu, Sheelanam Bhaktir Uttama. When one who is not inspired by material desires and is not contaminated by the process of fruitive activity and empirical speculation, fully engages in the favorable service of the Lord, his service is called Bhagavad Dharma or pure devotional service. In this verse, the word Brahmani does not refer to the impersonal Brahman. Impersonal Brahman is a subordinate feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and since impersonal Brahman worshippers desire to merge into the Brahman effulgence, they cannot be considered followers of Bhagavad Dharma. After being baffled in his material enjoyment, the impersonalist may desire to merge into the existence of the Lord, but a pure devotee of the Lord has no such desire. Therefore, a pure devotee is really Bhagavad Dharmi. It is clear from this verse that Maharaj Prithu was never a worshipper of the impersonal Brahman and was at all times a pure devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhagavati Brahmani refers to one who is engaged in devotional service to the Personality of Godhead. A devotee's knowledge of the impersonal Brahman is automatically revealed and is not interested in merging into the impersonal Brahman. Maharaj Prithu's activities in devotional service enabled him to become fixed and steady in the discharge of devotional activities without having to take recourse to karma, jnana, or yoga. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Om Jnantimarandasya Jnanancha Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Sapadadikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagar Jatam Sagana Raghunatamitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Pada Saganalita Sri Vishaka Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyacha कृपा सिंधु पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयते किल शक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यां च हस्तचरणश्रवणतगादीन् प्राणानमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम् मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयति यत्कृपातो वन्दे परमानन्दं नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय श्रीमते महाविष्णुगोस्वामिते नामिने नमो विष्णुपृष्ठपृष्ठे भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नामिने निर्विशेषशून्य पाश्चात्य जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत दर्शन हरे कृष्ण श्री राम So Hare Krishna Prabhu's Mother Geese, thank you for joining with this Srimad Bhagavatam session. See, whenever we go to a program or hearing Krishna Katha, when we got to know there's a particular mood actually. It's not actually we go for the entertainment or social gathering, right? It's not for just a marriage function at all. It's not like that. So how to come for the program and in what mood we should come? The mood of coming to Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita class should be that of a patient who goes to the hospital. Okay, that should be moved. And not out of a tourist who goes to the hotel. So there's a big difference in this, right? The tourist, no, he goes to the hotel for entertainment, while the patient goes to hospital to get cured. So he realizes that he is diseased in a disease condition. So, and knows that the doctor and medicines can certainly cure him. So he's very desperate when he approaches the hospital. So this is the mood we should go, not for entertainment. Now, in this chapter, where it's entitled, Maharaj goes back, Maharaj Prithu goes back home. See, Maharaj Prithu was one of the Shakti incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, as such, he appeared on the surface of the earth to execute the orders of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Because, it is given in Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Lord is the proprietor of all planets. And the Supreme Lord is always anxious, whether we are anxious to go back home or not. He is always anxious to see that in each and every planet, the living entities are happily living and executing their duties so that they can go back home. So as soon as there is some discrepancy, in the execution of the duties, prescribed duties, Krishna appears on the earth. As is given in Bhagavad Gita 4.7, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. See, since there are so many discrepancies during the reign of King Vena, so the Lord, he sent his most confidential devotee, Maharaj Prithu, to settle all these things. So after executing the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and settling the affairs of the world, Maharaj Prithu was ready to retire now. So as a Shakti incarnation of God, would actually come from Vaikuntha as a representative of Krishna, Maharaj Prithu was certain, that he had to go back home back to Godhead. But in order to set the example, right, he also underwent severe austerities in the Tapovana. See, in those days, there were many Tapovanas or forests, right, where they can do tapasya, especially meant for retirement and practice of austerities. See, it is necessary for one to become very active in family life, as it is necessary, right, in the fact. Similarly, after retirement from family life, it is necessary to control the mind and senses. And this is possible when one engages himself fully in the devotional service of Krishna. Actually, the whole purpose of the Vedic system is to enable one to ultimately return back home, back to Godhead. So the Grahastha Ashrama is a sort of concession. It combines sense gratification with a regulative life. So it is to enable one to easily retire in the middle life and engage fully in the austerities in order to, transcend the material sense gratification once and for all. So this is a point to understand. So, okay. See, in the Vanaprastha stage, life of tapasya austerity is strongly recommended. So following the example of Prithu Maharaj, one can become perfect in all respects by living this life, right? Or by retiring from active life. So after giving up this body, one can become liberated and go back to Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita, we have seen, right, in 6th chapter and all, yogis are advised to go to a secluded place in the forest, live alone in a specific spot. See, in the Tapovana, Maharaj Prithu sometimes he ate the trunks and roots of the trees. Sometimes he ate fruit, dried leaves. And some weeks he drank only water. Finally, he lived simply by breathing air. See the austerity he was doing. Similarly, like Dhruva Maharaj, right? So according to Vedic injunction, to live in the forest is to live in the mode of complete goodness. Whereas to live in the city is to live in the mode of passion. And to live in a brothel or drinking house is to live in the mode of ignorance. Whereas Prabhupada says in the purport, however, to live in a temple is to live in Vaikuntha, which is transcendental to all the modes of material nature. So this Krishna consciousness movement, it affords one the opportunity to live in the temple which is as good as Vaikuntha. A Krishna conscious person, he does not need to go to the forest or artificially try to imitate Maharaj Prithu or great sages, right? Who used to live in the forest. No need, just go to the temple. So the Krishna's movement has been introduced in the Western countries, okay? But it's not possible for Westerners to go to the forest and practice the severe austerities, which were ideally practiced by Prithu Maharaj or Rupa Goswami. So Westerners or anyone, they can follow in the footsteps of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura by living in a temple, which is transcendental to residence in a forest, and to vow to accept Krishna Pasada and nothing else, right, in the temple, following the regulatory principles, chanting 16 rounds daily of the Hare Krishna Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So in this way, one the spiritual life, no, it will never be disturbed in the temple. See, there are some austerities executed by Gyanis and Yogis who cannot accept the process of Bhakti Yoga. So they must undergo severe austerities, right, in order to become purified from material contamination. See, the purpose of undergoing such severe austerities is to become a devotee of the Supreme Personality God Krishna. That is more important. See, Maharaj Prithu, he underwent all these severe austerities in order to control his words and his senses, to refrain from discharging his semen, and to control the life air within his body. And all this he did for the satisfaction of Krishna. He had no other purpose. This is given in the 8th chapter translation. See, in that purport only Prabhupada says, in Kali Yuga, it is recommended, Hare Nama, Hare Namaiva Kevalam, Kalo Nastyeva Gatir Anyatha, Brahan Naradiya Purana. See, in order to be recognized by Krishna, one should chant the holy name of the Lord continuously to 24 hours, Nityam Bhagavad, right? Unfortunate persons who cannot accept this formula, they prefer to execute some types of meditation without accepting the other process of austerity. See, the fact is, one must accept either the severe method of austerity described so far we saw, right? Go to forest and all those things. Or to become purified by taking the process of devotional service recommended by Precisely Supreme Personality God Krishna. See, the person who is Krishna conscious is most intelligent. Because in Kali Yuga, it is not at all possible to undergo such severe austerities. So you have to only follow great personalities like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In his Shikshashtaka, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. All glories to the holy name of Lord Krishna, which from the very beginning purify the heart and immediately liberates one. Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. So if the real purpose of all yoga is to please Lord Krishna, then this simple Bhakti Yoga system recommended for this is sufficient. It is necessary to engage constantly in the service of the Lord. See, as it is given in the Narada Pancharatra, Aradito yadi haris tapasa hatata kim. See, if Krishna is worshipped, if he is the goal of advancement, there is no need for one to execute severe types of tapasya, because one has already reached his destination. But if after executing all types of tapasya, if he cannot reach Krishna, then all his tapasya has no value. For without Krishna, all austerity is simply wasted labor. Shrama eva hi kevalam. 128 Bhagavatam says. So we should therefore not be discouraged just because we cannot go to the forest and practice severe austerities. Don't worry. Our life is so short that we must strictly adhere to the principles laid down by the Vaishnava Acharyas. Right? And peacefully execute Krishna consciousness. There is no need to become despondent. So this Krishna-based movement is therefore very safe and easy. You only to execute the order of the Lord and fully surrender unto Him. You only to execute the order of the spiritual master, preach Krishna consciousness, and follow in the path of Vaishnavas. So the spiritual master represents both Lord Krishna and the Vaishnavas. Therefore, by following the instructions of the spiritual master and by chanting Hare Krishna, everything will be all right. So by thus practicing severe austerities, Maharaj Prithu gradually became steadfast in spiritual life and completely free of all desires for fruitive activities. He also practiced breathing exercises to control his mind and senses. And by such control, he became completely free from all desires to fruitive activity. Just to learn. Sorry, man. Okay. See, the Hatha yogis and Ashtanga yogis, they practice pranayama, right? But generally, they do not know the purpose behind it. The purpose of pranayama or mystic yoga is to stop the mind and senses from engaging in fruitive activities. So the so-called yogis, no, who practice in Western countries, they have no idea of this. The aim of pranayama is not to make the body strong and fit for working hard. No, the aim is to worship Krishna. So it was specifically mentioned that whatever austerity or pranayama and mystic yoga practices which Prithu Maharaj performed, they were actually performed for the sake of worshipping Krishna. Prithu Maharaj serves as a perfect example for yogis, no? See, whatever he did to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. This we have to be fixed in what understanding. The minds of those who are addicted to fruitive activity, they're always filled with unclean desires. Desires are not clean only. Fruitive activities are actually the symptom of our polluted desires, no? So as long as one continues to be subject to these polluted desires, he has to accept one material body after another. So these yogis, without so-called yogis, right? Without knowledge of the real purpose of yoga, they practice in order to keep the body fit. They engage themselves in fruitive activities. And they're bound to, by desires, to accept another body. They are not aware that the ultimate goal of life is to approach Krishna. So in order to save such yogis from wandering through all the different species of life, the Shastras is warning that in this age, such yogic practice is simply a waste of time. The only means is the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So Prithu activities, it took place in Satyuga, and in this age, this practice of yoga is misunderstood by fallen souls who are not capable of practicing anything. The Shastras, they say, Kalau nastyeva, 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 gatirantha. So the conclusion is that unless the karmis, jnanis, and yogis come to the point of devotional service to Lord Krishna, their so-called austerities in yoga have no value. Naraditaha. If Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is not worshipped, there is no point in practicing meditational yoga or performing karma yoga or any empiric knowledge. As far as pranayama is concerned, chanting of the holy name of the Lord, no, and dancing in ecstasy are also considered as pranayama. See, Sanat Kumara has instructed Maharaj Prithu to engage constantly in the service of the Lord. So only by worshipping Krishna can one become free from the desires of fruitive activities. Outside of worshipping Krishna, the yogis and jnanis cannot attain freedom from such desires. So pranayama does not refer to any ulterior motive. The actual aim is to strengthen the mind and senses in order to engage them in devotional service. See, in the present age, this determination can be very easily acquired simply by chanting the holy names Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So the best among the human beings, Maharaj Prithu, he followed that path of spiritual advancement, which was advised by Sanat Kumara. So he worshipped the Supreme Personality of God Krishna. See, Maharaj Prithu, practicing the pranayama yoga system, he engaged in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as advised by Sanat Kumara. See, the best man amongst all men engages in the service of the Supreme Person Krishna. So therefore, he has no need to practice any other type of yoga in order to approach the Brahma Bhuta stage. See, if the devotee, if he adheres strictly to the orders of the spiritual master, follows the rules and regulations, and chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it should be concluded that he is already at the Brahma Bhuta stage. as it is confirmed in 14.26 Bhagavad Gita. Mam cha yo abhyabicharena bhakti yogena sevate saguna samati taitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who is engaged in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. So we see in this 4:23:10, the verse which we are discussing, Maharaj Prithu engaged completely in devotional service, executing the rules and regulations strictly according to principles, 24 hours daily. Thus, his love and devotion unto Supreme Personality of God Krishna developed and became unflinching and fixed. Very important point, right? He engaged completely in devotional service. He was executing all the rules and regulations very strictly according to the principles. Not 1 hour, 2 hours, 24 hours daily. So what happened? His love and devotion to the Krishna, it developed. And he became unflinching and fixed. See, in one of the lectures, Srila Prabhupada says, he refers to 10.10 seed verse in Bhagavad Gita. Tesham satadayuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. Those who are 24 hours constantly engaged in my service. Satata. The satata means 24 hours. Tesham satadayuktanam. Engaged. Those who are engaged 24 hours, bhajatam, no? How engaged? Bhajatam, in devotional service. So how devotional service can be done? Priti purvakam, in love. That's what. Tesham satayuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam, in love. So they must enjoy, whatever you're doing, you must enjoy. So here is an opportunity of serving Krishna. The more they engage into service, the more they become pleased. That is spiritual service. There is no retirement in spiritual service. Material service, you will get tired, fatigued. Oh, I work so much now. In the service, spiritual service, you will get more energy. Let me serve more and more. No? So to such devotees, see, the Krishna is sitting in their heart. He gives the instruction. Do like this so that they will very soon come to Krishna. So Krishna is instructing. And to the others also he gives instructions. Those who are not in Krishna consciousness, they also he gives them. What instruction? Oh, you want to do this? Do it now. You wanted to steal? All right, here is the opportunity to steal. See, because in everyone's heart, Krishna is there as a Paramatma. Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannimishto. Bhagavad Gita 15.15 says. He says, I am situated in everyone's heart. Mata smritir jnanam apohanam cha. From me, there is remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. See, forgetfulness is also coming from Krishna. So this is going on. Krishna is the Adi Purusha. Krishna is, he's a person actually, right? Now, and he's not a person like us. He's not an ordinary person. Some people, they think, no, Krishna is not a person. He's just like us. That person is poor fond of knowledge, right? They think that God must be like me. They deny his personality. This impersonalism, right? So he's actually his person. Krishna is eternal. He does not die. We die. He is full of bliss. See, this body is not full of bliss, full of miseries actually. So how God can be a person like you? So God is a person. He is the original person. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So those who are poor fond of knowledge, they cannot understand the absolute truth is a person. So we have to take lessons from Brahma, right? Who is the original person? He says Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship. So we are Brahma Sampradaya, right? Our disciple is succession from Brahma. Therefore, we shall accept Brahma's statement. And we worship Adi Purusham, Govindam. See, we may know that Adi Purusha, but we follow the footsteps of Acharyas. Brahma says this. Brahma's disciple, Narada says like that. Narada's disciple, Vyasa says like that. Vyasa's disciple, Madhavacharya says like that. Then in this way, Ishwarapuri says like that. His disciple, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says like that. His disciple, the 6 Goswamis, Shad Goswamis, they say like that. In this way, we receive knowledge by parampara, by step in the disciple section. So, therefore, Prabhupada says our knowledge is perfect. In fact, in one of the letters to Gauri in February 3rd, 1975, in Honolulu, Prabhupada says, he wrote to her, always strictly follow all the rules and regulations, rising early, attending Mangalarti and classes, and without fail chanting 16 rounds daily. This will make you strong in Krishna consciousness, which is the most essential thing. Always be engaged 24 hours a day in the service of Krishna and be happy. And in another letter, in 14th March 1975, he says, wherever you may go to perform your devotional service, you should always be very careful to observe very strictly the rules and regulations. Rise early, attend Mangalarati and class, chant 16 rounds, and follow the 4 regulatory principles without deviation. This will guarantee your spiritual perfection. And in one of his lectures, Prabhupada says, Prabhupada is telling one who is engaged 24 hours to give service to Krishna, bhajatam priti purvakam, with love, loving service, not official service. Like my guru has told to rise early in the morning. I cannot do, but all right, let me rise. But I do not like to rise. This is not priti, this is not love. Because it's by force or something like that you feel, oh, I have to do it. Priti means love. Oh, I must to do it. Just like if I love somebody, if he makes engagement, please see me at such and such time. I immediately go. I will go in spite of all my difficulties because there is love. So to serve Krishna always with love and faith, right? Tesham satati yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam buddhi tatami buddhi yogam tam yenamapa. So Krishna is within the heart of everyone. He will give intelligence, buddhi. He will. So what kind of intelligence he will give? Yenama upayantite. Such intelligence that he may come back to Godhead. Such it is. Not to give him intelligence that he will go to hell. No. Not to take. See, in the nectar of instruction, it is given. So these activities must be executed with patience, devotional activities. One should not be impatient in Krishna consciousness. Very important point. One should not be impatient in Krishna consciousness. This Krishna consciousness movement was started single-handedly. Prabhupada says, single-handedly he started, right? And he's writing, in the beginning, there was no response. But because we continue to execute our devotional activities with patience, people gradually began to understand the importance of this movement, and now they're eagerly participating. One should not be impatient in discharging devotional service, but should take instructions from the spiritual master and execute them with patience, depending on the mercy of Guru and Krishna. That's why the successful execution of Krishna conscious activities requires both patience and confidence. Prabhupada gives an example. A newly married girl naturally expects offspring from her husband, but she cannot expect to have them immediately after marriage. Of course, as soon as she is married, she can attempt to get a child, but she must surrender to her husband, confident that her child will develop and be born in due time. Similarly, in devotional service, surrender means that one has to become confident. The devotee thinks, Avashya Rakshibe Krishna. Avashya Rakshibe Krishna. Krishna will surely protect me and give me help for the successful execution of devotional service. This is called confidence. So one should not be idle, but should be very, very enthusiastic about executing the regulatory principles. Tat karma pravartana. Neglect of the regulatory principles will destroy devotional service. So in this Krishna conscious movement, there are 4 basic regulative principles, right? Forbidding illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, and intoxication. The devotee must be very enthusiastic about following these principles. If he becomes slack in following any of them, his progress will certainly be checked. Srila Rupa Goswami therefore recommends tat karma pravartana. That means one must strictly follow the regulatory principles of Vaidhi Bhakti. And in addition to these 4 prohibitions, Yama, right? This is Yama. There are positive regulatory principles, Niyama, such as daily chanting of 16 rounds on Japamala beads, right? So these regulatory activities must be faithfully performed with enthusiasm. This is called Tat Karma Pravartana, the various engagement in devotional service. See the word Tad Darshana Dvasta Samasta Kilbishaha 6:16:31 purport. Prabhupada says it's very important in this verse. If one regularly rises, sees the Supreme Personality of God Krishna in the temple, one will gradually be disinfected of all material desires. If you go to temple, no, and have the darshan of the Lord, you will gradually be disinfected of all the material desires simply by visiting the temple and seeing the deity. So when one is freed from all the results of sinful activities, one will be purified. And with a healthy mind, completely cleansed, he will increasingly make progress in Krishna consciousness. In Bhagavad Gita 2.71, says a person who has given up all desires for sense gratification, who lives free from desires, who has given up all sense of proprietorship and is devoid of false ego, he alone can attain real peace. So if we want peace, these are the things to be followed. So Prabhupada says to become desireless means to not to desire anything for sense gratification. That is desireless. It's not that you cannot desire anything. It's not possible. See, that means desire for becoming Krishna conscious is actually desirelessness. This is a very nice statement in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela 19.149. Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Ateva Shanta Ashanta Mukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakali Ashanta. See, because a devotee of Lord Krishna is desireless, he is peaceful. Fruity workers desire material enjoyment. Jnanis desire liberation. And yogis desire material opulence. So they're all lusty and cannot be peaceful. Sorry. See, generally, there are three classes of living entities afflicted with selfish desire. These are Bhukti Kami, Mukti Kami, and Siddhi Kami. Bhukti, Mukti, Siddhi. Now, Bhukti Kami refers to those ordinary persons who desire money and everything money can buy. So, such a primitive mentality, right, is based on the desire to enjoy money, sex, social prestige. See, when a living being becomes frustrated with this hallucination, no, he takes to the path of speculative philosophy and he analytically tries to track down the source of the illusion. Such a person is called Muktikami because he desires to negate this material illusion and merge into an impersonal spiritual state free from anxiety. The Muktikami is also motivated by personal desire, although the desire is somewhat more elevated. Then comes Siddhikami, mystic yogi who desires this spectacular powers of mystic yoga, such as reaching one's hand across the world or making oneself smaller than the smallest, lighter than the lightest. He's also infected with material or selfish desire. So therefore, it is said, Sakali Ashanta. Sakali Ashanta means if one has any personal desire, whether it be material, philosophical, mystic, he will be Ashanta, ultimately frustrated. Because he will see himself as the central object of satisfaction. So this egocentric concept, no, this is in itself illusory and therefore ultimately frustrating. On the other hand, Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Ataeva Ashanta. A devotee of Lord Krishna is Nishkama. He has no personal desires. His only desire is to please Krishna. Shiva himself has praised this outstanding quality of the pure devotee of the Lord by he's stating, no, in 6:17-28, a person who is devoted to Supreme Personality of God Narayana is not afraid of anything. Elevation to the heavenly kingdom, condemnation to hell, and liberation from material bondage all appear same to a devotee. So although the impersonalist philosopher proposes that everything is one, devotee of the Lord actually not in that process, right? There's no process of merging. Devotee sees everything as the potency of Supreme Personality of God. So he desires to engage everything in the service of Krishna for Krishna's satisfaction. Devotee, he does not see anything as outside the scope of the Lord's potency, right? He's happy in any situation. No personal desire. Devotee of Krishna is actually Shanta, peaceful, because he has achieved the perfection of life, love of Krishna. He is actually situated in his eternal constitutional position under the direct shelter and protection of the Parameshwara Krishna, right? According to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura, this verse, no, right, 11:243 says, he says that this answer is given one of the Nava Yogendras. What is the highest good? That is the answer given. See, some years back, in one of the Vyasa Puja celebrations of my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Mahashukus Maharaj, in Shri Shri Radha Nil Madhav Dham in Rajkot, one of my god sisters, she was waiting to have darshan of Maharaj. And she had a nice opportunity to see the loving exchange of devotees from Trivandrum, right? See, seeing them, she said, she could realize bhakti is transcendental and beyond the limitation of language because they only know Malayalam. They don't know English or Hindi. And Maharaj doesn't know Malayalam. So, but they were discussing. For Krishna is Bhavagrahi Janardana, not Bhashagrahi Janardana. So every year, these devotees from Trivandrum, no, they travel for almost 2.5 days by train for this auspicious occasion. So, by the grace of and blessings of Guru, these sincere and simple devotees, no, in spite of their poor economic conditions, they were preaching in a wonderful manner. So, Krishna, being pleased by their humble service, no, is providing them with several places and opportunities to preach. And they are so enthusiastic, they started constructing a new Rath. They wanted to perform a Rath Yatra celebration, which by the mercy of the Lord, Jagannath, they were to start in that year. See, one particular topic which a devotee was trying to explain to Maharaj in broken English, but with sincere and unalloyed love, she said, it caught my attention. See, devotees in Kerala had been longing for translation of Srimad Bhagavatam in Malayalam. But due to some reason or the other, they were not able to find a suitable translator. So what happened? One year, one of the Prabhuji who had been attending the programs in Kerala, he moved to Chennai to pursue a new job after his studies. But he met with a terrible accident in Chennai, due to which he became bedridden. Now, devotees visited him regularly, chanted with him, were giving him Srila Prabhupada's books. In fact, he was the only son for his parents and had the responsibility to support his parents as well as two sisters. Apart from his bodily pains, we can imagine how much anxieties and suffering he would be undergoing. And plus his family also. So when he started reading Srimad Bhagavatam, the Lord inspired him to start translating them in Malayalam. He was telling the devotees, this accident is a blessing in disguise. If not for this, I would not have read Bhagavatam, nor would I have got a nice opportunity of translating them. Naveda Kachit Bhagavan Chikirshitam. What else could be said? The Lord has his own ways of engaging his devotees in his loving service, right? And that Mataji, who was witnessing everything and getting she said, she confided, see, personally, I had been very lethargic in studying Bhagavatam. In spite of hearing many times that Bhagavatam is the only answer for all questions, I never studied in regular manner. I used to postpone the study by thinking that I would start studying after a particular problem is over. Reality is, our problems are eternal. The problems which we think as the most difficult one at the moment will look so simple sometime later. And at that point of time, we might be facing much bigger one. Even after experiencing this so many times from childhood, she said, I never gave up my behavior of postponing the study of scriptures. Only auspicious, peaceful, useful way in which we could spend at least some portion of the day is by taking shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Only auspicious. She was thinking, if that devotee in bedridden condition is taking up to serious study of Srimad Bhagavatam, how much more serious and sincere I should be when the Lord has blessed with so many facilities to study the same. So this thought was constantly ringing in my mind, she said. So after returning from Vyasa Puja, by the grace of Guru and Krishna, she said, I started reading one chapter a day. First the shlokas, followed by the translation. First few days I was reading in the night, just before going to bed. Now soon I started realizing that I was not able to read with attention. When I know that I am reading a valuable science, then is it fair on my part to do it as the last thing in the day? That too in such a sleepy mood? She was thinking. So for the past few days, she said, I am reading in the morning before Mangalarti. It has indeed been a very nice experience, both in regulating my wake-up time in the morning and to begin the day with wonderful instructions and pastimes of Lord and His devotees. She said, even now, this study is incomplete without going through the nectar and purpose of Srila Prabhupada. But to begin with, I am hoping to read the shlokas and translation alone and gradually start reading the purpose also. Nashta prayesha badreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, that is by reading Bhagavatam book also, and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troubles from the heart is almost completely destroyed. And loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with cancel songs, he is established as an irrevocable fact. So she said, though I am not studying with love, sincerity, and 100% attention, I pray at the lotus feet of Guru Prabhupada and Krishna that I remain fixed in bhakti and study the scriptures regularly, and most importantly, lead this life as described in them. So it is really inspirational discussion and observation. It is good for everyone to follow, right? The thing is, we are in a bad world. And in this, to have a spiritual maturity, it is impossible. That's why, for this reason, we have to have unflinching faith in Krishna. And the behavior pattern should always be in a devotional way. Otherwise, we can't go forward. Show will not work. Khali show karna, it's not good. You know, rappers in the chocolate and the rappers are there, right? With the names and everything. Rappers doesn't change the content. Rappers doesn't change the content. See, we are wrapped in dhoti and kurta. Content does not change. If the content is purified, rapper eventually becomes famous. Correct? If the content is purified, rapper eventually becomes famous. So purification of the content requires understanding of the verses of Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita and reading in between the lines. Aham sarvasya prabho. See, we don't understand at all. Aham sarvasya prabho. Maturity is completely nil here. That's why, like mad persons, we are running here and there. Even then, in the body, there may be something wrong. So some Ayurvedic treatment may be required. But we should be matured about the treatment also. Too much treatment is no treatment at all. See, the treatment which is required unlimited, that treatment we don't give. Bhagavatam is required unlimited. No other treatment is required. Prabhupada has given so many purports, lectures, so many paraphernalia. We may not be able to read or hear all this during our lifetime. See, even one page is enough for a day to study. We should read canto wise, first, second, third line. That's how continuous study must go on. We should not stop with one reading. We should continue again and again. Nityam Bhagavat Seva. So we should do Nityam Bhagavat Seva. Regularly we must do study. Otherwise, the other treatments are not required. So this is maturity. So it is clear from this verse, the 423 10 which we are discussing, that Maharaj Prithu was never a worshipper of the impersonal Brahman, but was at all times a pure devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he says, Bhagavati Brahmani refers to one who is engaged in devotional service to serve the personality of Godhead, right? The devotee's knowledge of the impersonal Brahman is automatically revealed and is not interested in merging into the impersonal Brahman. So Maharaj Prithu's activities in devotional service enabled him to become fixed and steady in the discharge of devotional activities without having to take recourse in karma, jnana, or yoga. With this, I'll stop here. So thank you very much. We will take some wonderful lessons from this verse. Hare Krishna. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai Shri Prabhupada ki jinta gaur pramudu. Vancha kalpa taru bishkapa sandhu bhaya patitanam pavane bhyo vaishnavi bhyo mantkuri vaishnavantu ki jai. Hare Krishna. If you have any questions, any points to share, you can go ahead. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Puji, thank you. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, the beautiful narration of that lady, the dedication that why should I be reading towards the night? Why not I do it before the Mangalarti? It is so inspiring, Prabhuji. Hare
Yes.
Krishna. Hare
Hare
Pranam,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Thank you.
I think every day, Prabhuji, we should self introspect and see whether we are really honest in our service, and if not, we should get back to Shastra's Guru and take help and try to improve ourselves.
Correct, Mataji. True. Very nice. Thank you.
Otherwise, as you said, we should not be just carried away by the rappers. That is just illusion and
Correct.
drama.
Yeah, rappers may be wonderful, attractive, and all, but the content is useless. What is the use? Right.
Yes, Prabhuji.
If the
Thank you so
content is good,
much.
automatically the rappers will become famous.
Yes. Prabhuji, rappers are useless because as I see all our devotees and the material people, I see them that our devotees are never bothered about their external appearances. I've never seen them wear decorative attires. But on the contrary, the other people who are not Krishna conscious, they are only focused on the
Yeah,
rappers.
body. That's why they're thinking of the body.
Yeah, they are all
True.
rappers.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Okay.
Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very
Hare
much.
Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, thank you, Bruce Matajis. We stop here now. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.